an engine from a tank whose roar literally deafened the drivers, a beastly appetite of over 100 liters of diesel per 100 kilometers, and a single, absolutely insane mission to be a flawless carrier of nuclear death. The Soviet Union placed huge hopes on the NAMI-058, assembling this steel monster literally piece by piece from different vehicles. But instead of triumph, this Soviet Frankenstein was headed for an epic failure. Why did this ambitious project spectacularly fail its main mission, and what did it have to be urgently redesigned for? Today, we're going to break down the story of this steel madness down to the very last bolt. The late 1950s. The Cold War is gaining momentum. Two opposing sides, the USA and the Soviet Union, are entering an unprecedented arms race. Mass construction of intercontinental ballistic missiles begins, along with the first orbital flights and satellite launches. Along with stationary launch pads at cosmodromes, there arose a need for mobile missile systems for short-range tactical missiles. Powerful multi-axle trucks with high off-road capability were to become the mobile platform for such weapons. At the initiative of the Soviet military department, an informal 8x8 club was created. It included special design bureaus from the leading automotive enterprises KrAZ and ZIL. Later, the Ministry of Defense also involved the Department for High Mobility Vehicles of the NAMI Institute in this project. It was there, in April 1958, that the development of the 4-axle cabless chassis NAMI-058 began. The wheel arrangement was 8x8, meaning the vehicle had 8 wheels and all of them were powered. It had a payload capacity of 9 tons, and its main purpose was to mount heavy weaponry. To avoid slowing down development and increasing the project's cost, the Institute decided to assemble the truck using components from mass-produced vehicles. It seems that cobbling together huge, oversized monsters from whatever happened to be lying around was pretty much the unspoken golden rule of the Soviet auto industry. The all-wheel drive Ural 375 served as the base. From it, the NAMI-058 inherited the axles, braking systems, steering mechanisms, suspension, wheels, and towing equipment. Smaller components were supplied by the Minsk and Yaroslav automobile plants. But the main power units, the engine, clutch, and gearbox, were borrowed from the medium-tracked artillery tractor ATS. It was as if the NAMI engineers had assembled the biggest and most expensive Lego set in the USSR. The cab from one, the suspension from another, and the heart from a tank. A real Soviet Frankenstein of the Cold War era. The engine was the undisputed classic of that time. A diesel V12 with a displacement of almost 39 liters and a power output of 275 horsepower. It delivered an incredible, for that time, 1,275 Newton meters of torque. This power unit, weighing almost a ton, was a detuned version of the famous V2 tank engine that was used in T-34 tanks. The engine worked in tandem with a 5-speed manual transmission, which was also taken from the tractor. The only original parts in the NAMI-058 were the frame, the 2-stage transfer case, and the 2 separate single-seat cabins with panoramic glass and plastic roofs. Such a design clearly hinted at its intended area of use. The front part of a ballistic missile fit neatly into the open space between the cabins. To improve maneuverability, the wheels of the 2 front axles were made steerable. The rear tandem drive axle with a balancing suspension was taken entirely from the Ural 375, while the individual leaf spring suspension with hydraulic shock absorbers for each of the 4 front wheels was borrowed from the MAZ 200. The vehicle also received the hood section from the ATS tractor, featuring a square radiator grille with round headlights preserved on both sides. The first prototype was assembled in 1960 at the NAMI experimental plant. The vehicle underwent further refinement for another year, after which it was handed over to the military for comparative testing. There, the NAMI-058 had to compete with the latest developments, the BAZ 930 amphibious vehicle from the Bryansk automobile plant and the powerful ZIL 135L all-terrain vehicle with its 2 engines. On paper, the technical specifications looked impressive. This 12-ton giant could easily carry 9 tons of cargo and tow an additional 10-ton trailer. On paved roads, the vehicle confidently reached 70 km per hour, and on rough terrain, maintained a steady 30. The tank engine somewhat tarnished its reputation, its thirst reminiscent of the morning dehydration after a night of partying. The 12-cylinder would easily gulp down 100 liters of diesel per 100 kilometers, and when hauling loads through mud, those numbers went way beyond anything reasonable. But this monster didn't just guzzle diesel. Along with 100 liters of fuel, it would also easily consume about 5 liters of engine oil for every 100 kilometers. However, its appetite turned out not to be the main problem. After just a few days of testing, critical design flaws started to surface. It was practically impossible to access the engine wedged between the cabins for repairs. The driver in the tiny birdhouse-like cabin felt cramped, it was noisy, and in winter it was unbearably cold due to the lack of a heater. To allow communication between the operators in the two cabins, they had to install an aviation intercom system, and that's not a luxury. The roar of the 39-liter tank diesel was so deafening that drivers literally couldn't hear their own shouts. There were constant problems with shifting gears. The bearings would get clogged with dirt, the pedals would jam, and the steering developed massive play. The driving performance also left much to be desired. In terms of ride smoothness, the vehicle was hopelessly inferior to the BAZ 930 with its independent suspension and the ZIL 135L all-terrain vehicle. Despite its nearly 40-liter displacement, the low-revving engine offered no real dynamics. The NAMI accelerated to its 60 km per hour with all the agility of a sloth. On top of that, the truck tended to tip over onto its side at just a 33-degree tilt. The military demanded increased ground clearance, differential locks, and wide tires. However, after yet another breakdown in March 1962, they decided not to repair the vehicle and pulled it from testing ahead of schedule. At NAMI, they realized that their project couldn't compete with specialized ZILs or MAZs, like the MAZ 537, as a missile platform, so they decided to convert the vehicle for regular transport tasks. In 1964, an updated version, the NAMI-058T, appeared. It received a solid, widened cab from the Ural with V-shaped glass. Under the modified hood now sat a new 8-cylinder turbo diesel YAMS 238N with 320 horsepower. The problematic front suspension and axles were completely replaced with ones from the Ural. The wheels were fitted with wide lap-D tires. Interesting fact, it was the tests at NAMI that gave these tires their start in life, and they would later become the calling card of the legendary KrAZ 255, forever earning it the popular nickname Laptiajnik. In 1965, the upgraded vehicle clocked 19,000 kilometers during testing. It was joined by the new generation KrAZ trucks, the future 255s, and the heavy Ural 375D. In 1966, the NAMI-058T took part in snow tests. There, it competed with another giant from the Institute, the super heavy timber truck NAMI-076 Yermak, as well as a foreign guest, the French William V 8SA tractor. The vehicle performed much better, but now its main competitor was the 3-axle KrAZ 255. They were in the same weight class. And even though the 058 had better off-road capability, a more powerful engine, and the same fuel consumption, the KrAZ won. It was already in the final stages of preparation for mass production. There was no longer any talk of mass producing the 4-axle NAMI. At the same time, starting in 1965, the Institute was developing the bonneted heavy-duty tractor NAMI-058S. It was equipped with a YAMS 238N engine, a radiator from the KrAZ 255, and a cab with an extended hood from the Ural 375. The tractor was designed to work in tandem with the 10-ton active semi-trailer Ural 862. The length of this road train with the 12x12 wheel configuration exceeded 17 meters, and its total weight was 25 tons. The drive to the semi-trailer axles was provided through a power takeoff unit. The tractor was equipped with a more reliable dual-disc clutch, a 24-volt electrical system from the KrAZ 255, and front leaf springs from the MAZ 500. The only prototype of the tractor was built in 1966. It showed excellent results, a speed of 75 km per hour, fuel consumption ranging from 37 to 116 liters, and a range of 750 kilometers. It outperformed the production Urals in terms of traction and could tow platforms with special equipment. But a miracle didn't happen. The harsh realities of the planned economy put an end to these vehicles. All the trucks of the NAMI-058 series remained experimental Frankensteins. For the bureaucratic machine, it was much simpler and cheaper to produce mass-market KrAZ and Ural trucks than to invest resources in a new specialized platform. The NAMI chassis served only one useful purpose. It became a testing ground for engineering solutions that later made their way into production trucks. That was the story of this ambitious but ultimately failed project. What do you think about these Soviet experiments? Share your thoughts in the comments, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss new technical breakdowns. See you in the next videos.